Senator Boozman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Kale, in your testimony, you cite a dramatic decrease in time and tolerance for state implementation plans and dramatic increase in EPA federal implementation plans under the administration. As depicted in this chart, the Obama EPA has taken over state programs 54 times, more than the 3 previous administrations combined, times 10. Director Kiel, are you concerned about this trend? Isn't it true that state plans are integral to the Clean Air Act cooperative federalism structure, and federal plans are intended only as a last resort?
Thank you, Senator. We are concerned about this trend, and we understand as a state that federal plans may be necessary sometimes in circumstances where states do not act or choose not to act. But the frequency and process of these FIPs have become so alarming that mainly because they take a federal solution that may be developed in a very short period of time with limited information and replace a very thoughtful and extensive process at a state level where we've dealt with what could be a reasonable solution. We vet it through transparent processes and also search out whether we have unintended consequences. So that is our biggest concern, is that we replace our well thought out judgment with somebody else's solution that may not have seen that same thoughtful process.
Very good. As you know, under the Regional Haze Program, states develop implementation plans. EPA has limited authority to reject a state plan and issue a federal plan instead. Still yet, in Arkansas, EPA rejected our state plan and proposed an extremely expensive federal takeover. Director Keel, is it true our state plan was on track to achieve natural visibility conditions?
Yes, sir.
In its proposed federal regional haze plan for Arkansas, did EPA go beyond its limited procedural role prescribed by the Clean Air Act?
In Arkansas, we do believe so. And in fact, when I asked EPA, when they offered up the federal proposal, why they expanded the scope of the regional haze plan to include sources that were not legally authorized under the rule, EPA answered, because we can.
How will the requirements of the federal regional haze plan interact with possible actions under the Clean Power Plan? Are those timelines intertwined in a complicated way?
They are for Arkansas, at least. Our state air experts that evaluated both rules and have been working diligently to assess impacts and solutions looked at models, and I think it's important to show that the model under the regional haze plan, where they take into account cost effectiveness, assumes the source could install multi-million-dollar control equipment and do it cost effectively. However, when you look at the models and the timelines of the Clean Power Plan, that same source no longer operates just a few years later after those controls are installed. And that would be a very extremely costly mistake for Arkansans to pay for, to install multi-million-dollar controls only to have the source shut down to comply with the subsequent rule compliance date.
Thank you. Mr. Ali mentioned about the unfunded mandates. I think that's something that I think we can all agree on is a real problem. Some of these things we're having trouble on agreement, but the unfunded mandates really is a problem. Randy, can you address that a little bit?
Well, I mean, sorry, Senator, we're in a, it's really always been an issue. The funding for the vast majority, and I don't know the number, of our environmental regulatory programs in the states is provided by the states, either through the general fund budgets, or in our case, there's a lot of special revenue type accounts through assessments and fees on the industries that we regulate. There is rarely, I don't know that I've ever seen any kind of an analysis by EPA when a new rule is imposed or a new guidance. There's never an analysis done on what that I've seen that would indicate what the costs are that are associated with it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Boozman. Senator Markey.